Motorola, a leader in wireless personal communications. Motorola lets you take your world with you.
Pro football is a game of unabashed joy.
Fasten your seatbelts. This could be the start of something big. It's heavenly. It's wonderful. Yes! It is bedlam. It is pandemonium. Oh, what a catch! Oh, baby! Down to the 20. He dives into the end zone. Touchdown! Touchdown! Magnificent. Oh, man, oh, man, oh, man. What an unbelievable, stupendous finish.
This NFL Films production is a presentation of the National Football League. Every Sunday, NFL coaches, like the 49ers' Steve Mariucci, face a daunting docket of decisions.
All right, Steve, let's go. Base, let's go 300 jet X slant. Let's go with the Tiger, fake 94. Let's go 75 double seam post. Let's go Dragon, 200 jet Dragon. Let's go 322 scat Y stick slop. Fox 3 double comeback. 50 X spot, flanker cross. Let's go double stutter go. Let's go 24 double stutter go. Which side do you want Jerry on? Let's go 25. 25. No, where's Aaron Glenn? He's on the other side. Let's go 24. Let's go base.
For Mariucci, not every call will be a rousing success.
What the hell do we call? West. West left slot. Where's Chad? He was over there. That's a third down for a touchdown. That's an important play. We got to take the timeout if you don't get lined up right. All right, let's go.
Sometimes a play will work just the way it was drawn on the blackboard.
4th and 1.5. What do you like? 4th and 1.5. All right, let's go sprint option. Let's go zebra sprint option, far west slot.
It's 4th down and a long one at the 14. Young rolls out, sprints out, open receiver, Rice. He's got it at the 10. Cuts in. He might score. Jerry Rice is back in the end zone. Touchdown, 49ers.
That's it.
But every once in a while, when all the stars are in alignment, even the simplest call can become a great call.
All right, do we like 90-0? Bob, you like Gogs pulling around? All right, let's go 90-0. 90-0, be good with the ball. All right, here we go, let's go to work.
90-0 on one, ready? White 90! White 90!
Touchdown! Is it a touchdown? Is it a touchdown?
It's a play that's designed to make a few yards, 3 or 4 yards in a cloud of dust. Really, all you're trying to do is get out of there and make some room for yourself, make a first down. And the play was blocked beautifully at the line of scrimmage, but then from there on, Garrison had to break a tackle at the next level. And then really a back's on his own. And so if he's going to make a big play, he's going to have to break a tackle and make somebody miss. And if all those things occur, then I think you've got a great play in a coach's point of view. We've called it more this year than we've had in the past, I think. But it's become a popular play here all of a sudden.
And one of the greatest calls in NFL history.
This is Chuck Thompson speaking to you from Yankee Stadium, where the Baltimore Colts are playing in the first overtime period in the history of professional football.
Nobody had ever been in overtime before. We didn't know what to do. We Giants didn't know what to do.
But Colts quarterback Johnny Unitas sure did.
Going back to throw. This time he gets protection. Starts to run with the ball. Now he throws. It's good to Murray. He's at the 45.
With meticulous play calling in the overtime period, Unitas kept the Giants off balance and drove Baltimore to an NFL title.
Never expected Unitas to run a trap in the middle. That's what he ran. And that's what John Unitas would do. He ran the ball when he should have passed. And boy, did it work. I mean, right there. That was a big play in the drive.
2nd down, 7. Unitas at quarterback calls, he throws. Oh, a flare pass out to the right, it's good. to Motorola, down to about the 1 yard line.
So I remember asking Unitas after the game, you know, did you feel that was a big risk throwing this pass out in the flat that could have been intercepted? And he looked at me, straight at me, and he said, when you know what you're doing, you don't get intercepted. And to me, you can put that on his tombstone.
He is now connected on 27 out of 40. The Colts at the line of scrimmage. Flanker to the right, the ends are tight. United takes, he gives to Amici, and the ball game is over. Alan Amici has scored the touchdown, and the Baltimore Colts are the professional football champions of the world.
An interesting thing on that play, which was the genius of a Unitas, and a lot of people missed this. We were on the right hash mark, and everybody in the world, including the Giants, thought we were going to go for an off tackle to the left, and if we missed, we'd be right smack in front of the goal post. And John just took that little bit of a gamble and ran to the right on that play, and everybody was stacked to the left. And he had Lenny Moore there, who was not known as a great blocker, and he threw a key block, and it was wide open.
With a succession of great calls in the overtime period, Johnny Unitas led the Colts to a championship in the first NFL game ever to extend beyond the normal 60 minutes on the clock. 36 years later, another New York team was victimized by a play called the clock play.
With 32, 31, 30 seconds to go, I believe Marino is saying I'm going to spike it. Marino takes the snap from center. He's looking. He throws. All right! Touchdown, Dolphins! Mark Ingram caught it in the corner of the end zone in front of Eric Clay. That was unbelievable. I love it! Yes! I know you like that call. They caught the Jets off guard on that play.
Dan did a perfect job with it, called the play and called the play at the line of scrimmage and had a good sense of timing of when to use it.
I was thinking about doing a call and clock on Bernie. You know, so this is a perfect time for it. We called it and it worked. So, and it makes us look extremely smart.
Rocket science wasn't necessary when Bears head coach Jack Pardee formulated his game plan for the Minnesota Vikings. With the NFL's all-time leading rusher, Walter Payton, in the backfield, Pardee transformed a simple call known as Ride 38 into a great call. Payton rode Ride 38 into the record books with 275 yards rushing against the Vikings. On the other side of the ball, one call revolutionized defensive football in the NFL. It was perfected by number 8, Larry Wilson, and was known simply as the safety blitz.
Our defense was a defense that was really a very aggressive defense. We loved when we got in the huddle and a blitz was called. When I see people line up and blitz today, I tell you, I get some goosebumps when I see the quarterback taking a lump and guys coming free and getting after each other. And to me, that's kind of the nature of the game. I believe that's what the fan loves to see.
The fake field goal may be open, too.
All right.
LT and Banks. It's going to be on Banks' side.
Banksy, you set on this fake if we run it? Where's Haas? Hostetler!
Here he goes for the second field goal attempt. It's a fake. Back is Hostetler. He's throwing a pass. Wide open is Carl Banks at the 10, at the 5, in for a touchdown.
With its myriad possibilities, special teams afford plenty of opportunities to make a great call. The winningest NFL coach of all time, Don Shula, once called an onside free kick after a safety to help win a game versus the Bengals, and then called for a fake punt to keep an undefeated season alive.
The situation that preceded all that stuff, we were, I think, 4th and 5 or something like that. We knew that Pittsburgh had a habit of peeling back and forming their wall to return the ball. And they had one rusher from the outside. He came up, everybody else hit and went to the wall, and there was a hole you and I both could have run through at the same time.
And now he's going to run with the ball. 50, 45, 40, 35 to the 30, now to the 25 to the 20. The Dolphins running on a fake punt formation. Larry Seipel was the ball carrier, and he picked up a first down.
That was the key play of the day, without question. Yeah, it just gave everybody a lift, offensively and defensively.
Even under postseason pressure, Shula was unafraid to make what could be a disastrous or a great call.
The ball is on the Charger. 46 seconds remain on the halftime clock. He's straight back to throw, gets a rush, steps up, throws it downfield. It is complete. The lateral back is the 20, the 10, the 5, into the end zone, touchdown.
Oh, they did it with a gadget. They did it with a gadget.
The pass went to Harris, who laterals back to Nathan for the touchdown. They have really taken over this football game now.
So that's one of those gadgets you get away with if you can execute it, and they did.
Almost everybody has it, but nobody ever uses it. So when you do use it, you might use it every 5 years.
It never worked. It never worked in practice. Everybody's seen it. It's something you do since you're a little kid.
It's a play that you hope works for you. And it's a desperation play. There's no question about that.
It was perfect timing. And hey, there's nothing against our defense. I mean, I think we were playing pretty good defense at that time, but they called the perfect play at the perfect time. It was perfect timing.
I remember saying to myself that I was not going to be a part of a team that was up 24-0 and lost.
Thanks to Kellen Winslow's heroics, the Chargers did prevail in one of the greatest playoff games ever. And it's in the playoffs where every call has the potential to become a great call. In the Ice Bowl, Vince Lombardi and Bart Starr put together several great calls that utilized Green Bay's home field advantage, the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field.
Here we come back to the huddle now, and I get the call. 54 give. Absolutely, I'm really excited now, and I'm confident we're going to make it in.
Chuck Mercine's run led to a 1st and goal, but the Packers did not make it in on their first 2 tries.
The final timeout was 16 seconds to go. Bart went to the sidelines and decided to run 31 wedge. And that was a play that had been suggested in the Thursday movies. When we were looking at the Dallas Cowboys short yardage defense, I noticed that Jethro Pugh was higher than Bob Lilly on a goal line charge. And I said, Coach, if we need a wedge, we can wedge Pugh.
And I said, Coach, I'm up underneath the center. I can shuffle and lunge my way into the end zone. This is also typical of Coach Lombardi. All he said in a crisis time like that was, then run it, and let's get the hell out of here.
3rd down, inches to go. Starr begins the count. Takes the snap. He's got the quarterback sneaking. He's into the touchdown, and the Packers are out in front.
He came back with that call of the 31 wedge, which he turned into a quarterback sneak, of course, as we all know, on his own, just because the backs had been slipping coming out of their stance. If we hadn't scored on the play, the clock would have run out and we'd have never kicked it. I don't think with 16 seconds, I don't think we could have lined up our field goal team and kicked it. So it was all or nothing at all on that play.
We're going to call a bin pass halfback fan or corner. He's going to break up and break into the corner. Okay. You got it? If you don't get what you want, you'll just simply throw the ball away. Okay. You know what I mean? Hold it, not there, away it goes.
Big play, let's go!
Everything hangs in the balance now. The season, the outcome of a Super Bowl berth hangs in the balance. Montana rolling out the right, looking toward the end zone, throwing under pressure, throws his pass, caught by Clark. Clark got a touchdown. Dwight Clark has it. It's a touchdown for the 49ers.
Dave Casper's a prototype tight end, as far as I'm concerned, the best that ever played. And he was another one of those money players that always came up with things. We designed the play to get to David with a post-type pattern based on what they had done before with that down and distance.
And they said, hit the goals to the post. So I get up the line of scrimmage, and the first thing I do is whoever was that linebacker caught me right in the neck. I mean, I didn't even get off the line of scrimmage. Snake had to get rid of the ball because I was so late. And it's over here somewhere. So I played a lot of baseball. I just looked down, and it wasn't hard catching the ball because the darn thing came right straight down.
That play was, that made the game for us.
The ghost to the post set up a field goal that sent the game into overtime, where Dave Casper's 3rd touchdown ended one of the longest games in NFL history.
That was a great game. You know, the funny thing about that game is it didn't get talked about as one of the great. I mean, if it were a Super Bowl, that game had been a Super Bowl, it'd be the greatest football game ever played.
Ah, yes, the Super Bowl. Where under a worldwide microscope, any call can become the greatest or worst call in NFL history. Super Sunday is not the day to have one of those games where no matter what play is called, it just doesn't work. In Super Bowl V, the Colts and Cowboys committed 11 turnovers and were penalized 14 times. With less than a minute left in the game, the Cowboys gave it up for the last time, this time inside their own 30-yard line. With 9 seconds left, Jim O'Brien kicked the Colts to a mistake-marred win that even some of the victors found distasteful.
Yeah, it was ugly. No, I do not wear a ring from that game. I don't even think about it because it didn't feel like a championship.
But on some Super Sundays, every call is a great call, as it was for Joe Gibbs and the Redskins in Super Bowl 22. On just 18 plays, in a span of 5 minutes and 47 seconds, Washington scored 35 points.
Play action fake. Williams going up top. Got Sanders on the fly. Midfield. He's gone unless they can catch him. The 30, the 20, the 15, the 10. Touchdown, Washington Redskins.
Yes, sir. We're coming back. We're going to do it.
Obviously, they're going to pass. Williams, the pass, lobs it up. He's got Clark at the goal line. He's got it. Touchdown, Washington Redskins. Redskins have arrived. They woke up. He'll hand off to Smith, and he's back. Good hole. Midfield, horse race to the 40. Far side 35, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Washington Redskins. Timmy Smith from 58 yards. We are seeing a virtuoso performance. Oh, big this time. Big down everybody. He's got Sanders in the clear at the 10. Touchdown, Washington Redskins. And another one right here. Let's see. Do they go up top? Lobs it into the end zone. He's got Didier. Touchdown, Washington Redskins.
Whether it's on offense, defense, or special teams, a flea flicker, a blitz, or a pooch, here are the greatest calls in Super Bowl history. An old saying goes, when you get to the big dance, you dance with who brung you. Green Bay's dance partner has always been the Packer Power Sweep. Game plans are preached to players, practiced to perfection, and ultimately, if executed flawlessly, a testament to the coach's strategy for victory.
If you look at this play, what we're trying to get is a seal here and a seal here, and try to run this play in the alley.
Vince Lombardi called the power sweep so often, the Kansas City Chiefs knew it was coming, but were powerless to stop it. Jim Taylor's 14-yard touchdown broke a 7-7 tie that led the Packer family to their first Super Bowl championship. Familiarity may breed contempt, but it also helped Coach Weeb Eubank make the right calls in Super Bowl III.
He knew our personnel as well as anybody did because all the players who were with us at that time had played for Weeb in 1962.
He might be able to find whatever chinks there were in their armor. He broke the Colts down at what was perceived to be their strength.
That's a game plan anyway. That's a game plan.
Eubank called fullback Matt Snell's number often, and Snell answered, leaving Baltimore's right side battered and beaten throughout this Super Sunday. He scored the Jets' only touchdown and set up 3 field goals, upsetting the favored Baltimore Colts.
And that old rule, hey, if it's working, keep going to it. You know, make them stop it.
Tom Landry's ground game was unstoppable in Super Bowl VI. The Dolphins were unable to grasp their attack, and Landry continued to call the run as Dallas established a then-record 252 rushing yards.
We didn't have to throw the ball that much. We ran the ball pretty much the whole day and scored, and pretty much at our will. Wish I had thought of that game plan.
Come on, Lenny! Pump it in there, baby!
In Super Bowl IV, Hank Stram's game plan was to attack the speed of Viking defensive ends Carl Eller and Jim Marshall.
Let's have a blue right slot fake draw 908-51 G-O reverse. You know, yeah. Here comes a reverse coming from tight eye. Here comes a reverse from tight eye. Could be wide open here coming up. Tight eye reverse.
Frank Pitt's reverse helped the Chiefs erase the bitter taste of defeat remaining from their loss in Super Bowl I, and provided future foes of the Purple People Eaters a blueprint for victory.
We felt that going into the ballgame that we're going to be able to take advantage of this tremendous quickness of an Alan Page by cross-blocking. On our cross-block, our left tackle, Wayne Moore, comes down hard on Alan Page. If he's slanting to the inside, he takes himself out of the play. If he's slanting to the outside, he's coming right into the area that Wayne Moore is blocking down, and this nullifies his outside slant. The play was very effective, and it was only because the cross-block was the type of blocking that should be used against these hard-charging defensive linemen.
Zonka's 145 yards and 2 touchdowns left the Vikings star-crossed in Super Bowls, with one more shot against the Oakland Raiders.
There was only one thing that concerned us when we played the Vikings, and that was that they had lost 3 other Super Bowls, and we kept thinking they got to win one of these days, but it's not going to be this week. We knew if we got past their front 4, the rest of the guys were not in a big hurry to make a tackle. You could get some pretty long runs.
Back in those days, we were a fullback-oriented team. Based on the way the Vikings played, our halfback came into play.
Davis's play helped the Raiders set a record of 429 total yards, as Coach John Madden made all the right calls.
John Madden's grin is from ear to ear. He looks like a slit watermelon.
When the greatest running back on earth's sideline is yours, a coach has little choice whose number to call.
Well, they came out in the paper that week saying, you know, we've got to stop Walter Payton first. You know, and they did a good job with that. They stopped Walter Payton. I think they were too worried about Walter and they forgot about everybody else.
With the best running back in history playing the best decoy, Mike Ditka called for Plan B. Fullback Matt Suhey rushed for an 11-yard touchdown. Quarterback Jim McMahon added 2 more. And the back with the biggest backside got the call that made him a household name.
Again, William Perry in the backfield, first and goal from the 1-yard line, hand off to the bridge.
Chicago's victory made Mike Ditka the first man ever to score a Super Bowl touchdown and make the right calls to win one. In Super Bowl 25, Bill Parcells' plan called for his offense to control the ball to keep it away from Buffalo's no-huddle quick-striking offense. The Giants controlled the ball for an unprecedented 40 minutes and 33 seconds, with a combination of O.J. Anderson's power rushing and short, high-percentage passes to backs and receivers that kept the high-powered K-gun offense off the field.
Bills have not had the ball in this quarter, and the clock is running, and that's just the way the Giants want it.
Giants on the 1.5-yard line. O.J. touchdown!
Our game plan was to establish the running game. You have to believe in the running game. If you believe in the run, you're going to be able to run the football.
Here you go! Here you go!
When you have Terrell Davis, it's easy to believe. But even the Broncos must account for an accomplished run stuffer like Green Bay's Leroy Butler.
What we try to do is neutralize Butler, who was a big part of their rushing attack, who would very often be the extra guy in the defensive scheme.
They're not a slot team, and Shanahan is very creative. And I thought that if they're running so much slot, I see they're trying to go away from our strength.
It was the ideal position that Denver had him in where he couldn't make plays, because I really feel that Denver felt going into that game they could control the Packer front 7.
Second and goal from the 1 with 1:47. Davis into the end zone, rocking, standing up. Third rushing touchdown. That's a Super Bowl record.
Shanahan called Davis's number 30 times, and he responded, carrying the Broncos to their first Super Bowl victory.
Program! This program is the Super Bowl program. Folks, what program?
Throughout Super Bowl history, coaches have used a wide range of strategies to establish their passing attacks. Although Super Bowl III will be remembered for Joe Namath's guarantee, behind Broadway Joe's prediction was a well-conceived game plan to dissect the Baltimore Colts.
We definitely had a game plan because we did see some things on their defense that we felt that we should attack. They'd won in the NFL by blitzing as safeties. We always went into games with Joe that we hoped they did blitz.
Weeb Eubanks' plan to counter Baltimore's blitz called for Hall of Fame receiver Don Maynard to act as a decoy.
Early in the ball game, I want to throw long, and then I want to peck away what's there. You know, the Colts, they weren't stupid. You know, they knew that given enough chances, we were going to go deep with Maynard. That enabled us to go to George Sauer more often. We went to Sauer, and we went to Sauer, and we went to Sauer because the Colts respected Maynard's lightning.
Namath called Sauer's number 8 times as the Jets completed one of the most stunning upsets in NFL history. In Super Bowl IV, the Chiefs countered Minnesota's Purple People Eaters with Coach Hank Stram's imaginative offense of the 70s.
We were a multiplicity team. By that I mean we used a lot of formations and we moved the pocket and a lot of things that were not being done at that particular time in professional football.
We're catching them moving. We're catching them moving a little bit. They're not ready for that quick count. Look at them running around. They didn't even know where to go on the lineup. We felt the corners played very soft, off the ball. Watching the films we saw, we couldn't understand why people in the National Football League didn't throw in front of their corners. See, that stuff in front is like stealing. We got to do more of it.
Stram called for an arsenal of quick passes from a dizzying array of formations.
They can't cover that in a million years. No way in the world they can cover that stuff. See, that's like stealing over there.
The big play in Super Bowl IV, the little hitch pass to Otis Taylor when they had an all-out blitz coming. We happened to guess right. I mean, he caught a 6-yard pass, broke a tackle, and raced on down the sidelines for a 46-yard touchdown. The little hitch pass showed everybody that, hey, Kansas City basically had wrapped up this football game.
That's it, Rats. That's it, boy.
Although a flawlessly executed game plan is preferred, another common call is exploiting the inexperienced. In Super Bowl II, Green Bay coach Vince Lombardi sought to expose the bump-and-run coverage style used by Oakland's defensive backs. Early in the second quarter, the Packers detected single coverage on split end Boyd Dowler. Packer quarterback Bart Starr called for Dowler to go long, beating young cornerback Kent McLuhan for the game's first touchdown.
Quick post is what it amounts to, but just he and I out there, man on man, and I kind of horsed by him. I bumped him when I came off the line of scrimmage, and he bumped me. We bumped each other, I guess.
In his last game as head coach of the Packers, Lombardi taught the Raiders a lesson they would never forget. After leading Philadelphia at halftime of Super Bowl XV, the Raiders used the first drive of the third quarter to isolate veteran Cliff Branch on the Eagles' rookie cornerback, Roynell Young. Branch made a better adjustment to the underthrown pass than the youthful Young and scored his second touchdown of the game. For Super Bowl XIX, San Francisco coach Bill Walsh's game plan included a variety of play-action passes and rollouts designed to confuse the Dolphins' young inside linebackers.
The Miami Dolphins were in a man-to-man defense with linebackers covering backs. So consequently, a big part of our massive offensive output in the second quarter of that game was Montana running with a football. We discussed how their linebackers would be chasing our backs all over the field, and if he ran with the ball, there'd be nobody to stop him. I remember one play where one of their linebackers was chasing one of our backs down the field, and Joe was right behind the linebacker, carrying the ball behind him. Joe's fully dimensional abilities really were too much even for Dan Marino that day.
Although he earned the game's Most Valuable Player award, Montana saved his most dominating Super Bowl performance for last. In Super Bowl 24, Montana called a series of long passes that exposed a flaw in the middle of the Denver Broncos' two-deep defensive set.
59 laser! 49
Montana drops back to throw, looks over the field, goes for the end zone. Jerry Rice, touchdown 49ers! Pump fake by Montana, launches it for the end zone. Jerry Rice! Oh, what a catch by Rice! Touchdown 49ers!
Joe was at his very best. He wasn't nearly as dependent on running and mobility at that point as he was on hitting Rice and Taylor at full stride. He was truly brilliant, became maybe the greatest football player of his time during that game. And of course, the rest is history.
Montana captured his third MVP award by throwing for 5 touchdowns, a mark that would stand until January 29, 1995. Calling a play-action pass to freeze the defense, Steve Young split the Chargers' two-deep zone on the game's third play.
And a play fake. Young goes deep middle. He's got Jerry Rice. Touchdown 49ers! First touchdown of the game. Comes after only a minute and 24 seconds. 44 yards. Touchdown pass to Rice. He sets another record. Unbelievably great throw by Steve Young.
Young threw for a record 6 touchdown passes to earn the game's MVP award and escape the shadow of his predecessor.
Someone take the monkey off my back, please! It's gone forever!
It was one of the rare experiences where the reality far outweighed the dream.
Steve.
It was beyond my wildest imagination.
When devising a game plan, it's impossible for any head coach to predict what effect special teams will have on the outcome of a game.
Snaps it down. The kick is blocked. Rolling loose on the field. It is picked up by Gallo. He tries to throw a pass. Deflected in the air, grabbed by Bass. He's going to score.
While preparing for Super Bowl 16, San Francisco coach Bill Walsh sought to turn injury into opportunity for his team. In the season opener in Detroit, a bad leg limited Ray Wersching's kickoffs to squib kicks. Walsh noticed how the ball took unpredictable bounces on the hard Silverdome surface. With 15 seconds remaining in the first half, Walsh called for Wersching to squib a kickoff to the Bengals. With Cincinnati unable to handle the loose ball, San Francisco recovered. And with 2 seconds remaining, Wersching increased the 49ers' halftime lead. Trailing the Cowboys in the fourth quarter of Super Bowl 30, Pittsburgh coach Bill Cowher needed to jumpstart his sluggish Steelers.
Surprise onside. Go surprise onside. What do you think, Cam? Surprise onside. Hey, let's do it. Surprise onside.
Didn't think he was going to go with it. And then I heard him yelling, go for it, let's do it.
Run. I'm going surprise onside. All right? Yeah. Hey, Dick, I'm going onside here. Not leaving anything in the bag.
Kevin Williams and Brock Marion are the two deep, and the Steelers try an onside kick, and they got it! And a man running with the football at the 50, Dion Figures! How about that?
Oh, that's a great call. Let's go! Let's go! Hey, Ronnie! Let's go! Let's go! Let's play! Let's go! Hey! Let's play! Let's go!
He
even though it was there, even though we saw it was there, even though we knew it was there, for a head coach to make that call, you know, you're down by 10, still a pretty gutsy call.
That was a gutsy call on the onside, though, right? Great call. Huh? Great call. It's close.
Cowher's bold call helped the Steelers cut the Dallas lead. But that was as close as Pittsburgh would get.
Four wideouts. He gets the snap. Here comes an outside blitz. The pass is picked up. An open field. Here comes Larry Brown to the 15. He's to the 10, and he's knocked out of bounds on the far side at the Steelers' 6-yard line.
So the timeouts. It's been a great season. We'll see you next time.
Trailing in the fourth quarter of Super Bowl IX, time was running out on Coach Bud Grant and the Minnesota Vikings. With Pittsburgh punting from deep in their own end, Grant called for the Vikings coverage team to go for the block. Terry Brown recovered Matt Blair's block in the end zone, and suddenly the Vikings had new life. Momentum proved to be a fickle lady, however, as the Steelers turned the ensuing possession into a touchdown drive to secure the first Super Bowl title in franchise history. Pittsburgh returned to the Super Bowl a year later, but this time it was the men of steel that needed fourth quarter heroics. With Dallas set to punt from their own end zone, Pittsburgh coach Chuck Noll called for a punt block formation that put 10 Steelers on the line of scrimmage. Pittsburgh's Reggie Harrison broke through the Cowboys' line and blocked the punt out of the end zone for a safety that changed the complexion of the game.
What really turned the ball game around was Reggie Harrison blocking, that punt in the end zone.
That kind of turned the tide to give them the lead in the game, and that was a big play.
I think that was a big turning point, was the block punt. I think that hurt us more than anything else.
I think that was a turning point because all of a sudden you could feel they were really, turning it up.
Huge play. I mean, that play, may go down as the play of that game because Reggie broke through and blocked that punt.
You look at Super Bowl X and you think about, and most people think about my catches, the fact that I was MVP of the game. And they'll think about Bradshaw throwing those passes. They'll think about Jack Lambert and the tackles and the hits he made. That block punt was very special. I hear people talking about, the superstars, make super plays in super games. Hey, everybody's got to make them.
Often overlooked in the examination of great calls and game plans are the defensive countermeasures to the offensive fireworks. In Super Bowl 32, the underdog Denver Broncos implemented a bold and risky defensive game plan to try and slow down the NFL's three-time MVP.
The one thing that I knew about the game plan going in, their feeling was that if they blitzed Brett Favre, ultimately he was going to make the mistake to cost them the game.
What we tried to do is keep him a little bit off balance. We knew that if you gave Brett Favre a lot of time, that he was going to make some play. So we blitzed a little bit more in that game. We tried to bring 4 people off the weak side to cause them some confusion, to try to put a little pressure on them.
It's hard to explain to people what they did in the Super Bowl as opposed to what we had planned for. They blitzed a lot more than we anticipated.
That should be the Broncos' ball. Steve Atwater on a blindside blitz hit Brett Favre in the middle of the back. The ball squirted out, and Denver with their second turnover.
With the World Championship on the line, head coach Mike Shanahan made the call to stick with their aggressive game plan.
Play like you always do. A lot of blitz. Yeah, whatever you would do normally. This is it. Come on. 4th and 6 for the 31. Blitz is on. Favre hit as he throws. Pass is going to be incomplete. Denver holds. Denver's going to win.
The Broncos found a little something. They never showed them the same blitz twice. It was a masterpiece from a coach's standpoint.
Perhaps Shanahan's insight came from the Packers' predecessors. In Super Bowl I, Green Bay, a team that rarely blitzed, found great success through pressure. On 3rd and 5, head coach Vince Lombardi called for a double linebacker blitz. The unexpected pressure forced quarterback Len Dawson to throw a desperation flutter ball that was easily intercepted by Willie Wood. This play proved to be the turning point in the game. Green Bay's defensive game plan played a lead role once again in Super Bowl II.
Running outside had been their strongest suit, and I think this was the thing that we had to do early in the ballgame was cut off the outside run.
The game plan called for middle linebacker Ray Nitschke to shoot through gaps left by pulling guards, allowing him to run down Raider ball carriers all over the field. For the second straight year, the Packers' defensive play calling helped make them Super Bowl champions. Super Bowl XVIII gave witness to probably the greatest defensive play call in Super Bowl history. With seconds remaining in the first half, and Washington backed up on their own 12-yard line, Raider assistant coach Charlie Sumner had a hunch. When the two teams met earlier that year, the Redskins had been in a similar situation and threw a screen pass to Joe Washington that gained 67 yards. Foreseeing the same play, Sumner replaced Matt Millen with Jack Squirek, a pass cover specialist. While the rest of the defense played zone, he instructed Squirek to cover Washington man-to-man.
Here comes the Redskins with 12 seconds to go in the half. Trailing 14-3.
Theismann back, looks off to the left, and he fires it out there. Intercepted! Jack Squirek! Touchdown Raiders! I don't believe it! Holy Toledo!
A screen pass, and they look like they knew it was coming.
2nd and 7, backed up Joe. Jack Squirek implemented into the game. Did everyone in the stadium know it was going to be a screen pass? Yes! Touchdown, Jack Squirek!
Squirek's touchdown, KD barred the door on the Raiders' third Super Bowl victory. Super Bowl XXVIII proved to be another example of a great defensive game plan, changing the course of a championship game.
Now listen, hey, the biggest thing we've got to do is we got to make sure we know the read call, because that's a key.
With 3rd and 5 for the Bills, Kelly back, no pressure, over the middle, the ball is intercepted by James Washington. Where did he come from?
To combat the Bills' no-huddle offense, the Cowboys played a nickel defense, using reserve safety James Washington, number 37, as their 5th defensive back. Along with his interception, Washington returned a fumble 46 yards for the key touchdown of the game.
And James Washington has a touchdown today, caused a fumble, recovered a fumble, made an interception. What more do you want?
It has been said that offense sells tickets and defense wins championships. The 1985 Chicago Bears defense did both.
I've seen a lot of great defensive teams, but the best defense I think I ever saw was that 85 Bear team.
I can close my eyes today. There they are, right in front of me. Dan Hampton, Steve McMichael, Richard Dent, Mike Singletary with those big eyes staring at me. Off to the right is Otis Wilson, off to the left is Wilbur Marshall. They actually hit you on their way going someplace, and you happen to be in the way. You know, it's like, oh, sorry, we ran over you. You know, we weren't really interested in you anyway. You're a piece of dirt, and get out of our way. I mean, that's the way you felt.
Buddy Ryan's innovative defense made many an opponent feel like dirt, and their Super Bowl XX adversaries were no exception.
Well, they were playing the Buddy Ryan 46 defense, which really nobody knew much about at that time, and it was such an attacking type defense that you just didn't see from anybody else.
The Bears' defense yielded negative 19 first-half yards. They recorded 7 sacks, 6 turnovers, and allowed 7 total rushing yards in the most dominating defensive performance in Super Bowl history. The genius of a great game plan is measured by the flexibility it allows a coach to make the right call at the right time. In Super Bowl IV, the Chiefs' coup de grace came courtesy of Hank Stram's bread and butter call.
For 65 toss power trap, what does it look like?
Hey, look for a 65 toss power trap. See what it looks like.
Blaster, tell him 65 toss power trap. Get in there for 65 toss power trap.
Let's go!
65 toss power trap. That might pop wide open, Rats.
He's in there! Was that there, boys? Was that there, Rats?
Nice going, baby.
Yes, sir, Rats. Was it there, boys? Was that there, Rats?
Nice going, baby.
Yes, sir, Rats. Yeah!
The Mender. 65 toss power trap. Yeah!
Yeah! I'm telling you that baby is there. Yes, sir, boys. Woo!
Stram's call proved simple can suffice. But in Super Bowl IX, Terry Bradshaw demonstrated that the unexpected could go undefended. Leading by only 2 points in the fourth quarter, Pittsburgh sent a former offensive tackle into the pattern. Left uncovered, Larry Brown scored the game-clinching touchdown in the Steelers' first World Championship. In Super Bowl XIII, Chuck Noll would again call on an unheralded player. Despite having Lynn Swann, John Stallworth, and Franco Harris, Noll called for a pass to Rocky Bleier with time running out in the first half. Bleier's clutch catch gave the Steelers a halftime lead they would not surrender en route to victory. Still, Pittsburgh's Super Bowl success was more than unleashing the untalented. In Super Bowl X, Terry Bradshaw used an obvious target.
I felt our passing game had matured more, and there's more confidence in Chuck Noll to call passing plays. We were backed up in our end zone, and we had to get out. We needed a big play. And for us to put the ball in the air in that situation and make it a real long play was not the norm for the Pittsburgh Steelers. The third catch was a big one, certainly the biggest for the team, in as much as it was a blitzing situation for the Cowboys, man-to-man coverage. We put it out there on a post pattern, and again, tight coverage. Bradshaw lays the ball out. I'm able to make the catch, and we get into the end zone for the score. And we win that ball game 21-17.
Pinpoint passing is no easy trick, but it's no trick play. That came in Super Bowl XII.
I don't know why, Vern, but I just have the feeling that Tom Landry might have a gadget that he might want to use in a situation like this somewhere here, one of those trick plays.
Pitch out, Newhouse goes left, pulls up, wants to pass. Fires it deep for Goldie Richards.
Robert Newhouse's option pass worked as well in the game as it had in practice. Not so the call that clinched the Steelers' fourth Super Bowl victory.
I don't know if that play was 70 slot hook and go or 60 slot hook and go.
60 prevent slot hook and go.
It was a pass that we worked all week long, but we hadn't completed it. And Chuck called that play. We'd gone to the sideline, he had told me, well, the only way we're going to beat these guys is we got to go deep.
Now Bradshaw pumping, firing downfield. There goes Stallworth. He pulls it in at the 30, the 20, the 10, the 5, and it's a touchdown for Pittsburgh on the ball to Stallworth. And Stallworth beat Rod Perry. Oh, did he beat him? And the Steelers fire right back on the arm of Terry Bradshaw.
In Super Bowl XVII, the key call came via Plan B.
Plan B was that we were going to not fool around with any more misdirection. We were going to run directly at them. So Coach Gibbs told the team right then and there, we're going to go back out. We're going to establish a line of scrimmage. We're not going to get impatient. We're going to win the football game by running it.
Let's go. Goal line, goal line. I left tight wing, 70 chip on white. Ready?
Here comes the Diesel. Here comes the Diesel. Here comes the John Riggins right up the middle. Right up over the middle.
Shot! Yellow 41! Yellow 41! Punch!
There's the snap, hand to Riggins. Good hole. He's got the first down to the 40. He's gone. The 35, the 30, the 20. He's gone. He's gone. Touchdown, Washington Redskins.
John Riggins' romp was the obvious call on 4th and 1. But in Super Bowl 21, trailing by a point, Bill Parcells faced his own 4th and 1 and made the boldest call of his coaching career.
This is Landetta's fourth punt of the football game. Trick play. Trick play. Rutledge is in the game. The backup quarterback in Denver doesn't have defensive backs on the field. The Giants on 4th and inches as Rutledge looks things over. Giants with the first big play of the game on 4th down and inches from their 46-yard line. Rutledge keeps the ball and dives ahead. I don't know if he got there. It all depends on the spot. It's close, Don. Bill Parcells on the sideline goes to the bag and picks first in this game. And the Giants...
The drive culminated in a touchdown as New York cruised to 30 second-half points and its first Super Bowl victory. 2 years later, Bill Walsh and the 49ers trailed by 3 points with time running out. As Joe Montana led a desperate San Francisco drive, Jerry Rice was setting Super Bowl receiving records. As Walsh and Montana decided on the call, there was little doubt who would get the ball.
Coach, you're going to go, it's to Rice now.
I'm sure everybody was anticipating the ball going to Jerry, so when I came up, I just nodded out, stepped out, and broke straight back through the middle, and Joe put the ball where nobody else could get it but myself. What it was a 50 halfback curl.
That quarterback in motion comes Rice. Back to throw Montana. Stepped up, throws.
I said, we have just run the perfect play to win the World Championship. And it was a play that basically I designed from out of nowhere. So I was really proud of myself, feeling that would be the last play of my NFL coaching career.
In Super Bowl 27, Jimmy Johnson's Cowboys held a slim 4-point lead just before the half. Noticing a favorable matchup, Johnson called for a post slant 2. A scant 15 seconds later, Johnson again called for Troy Aikman to find the playmaker.
Right to the goal line. Urban jumping,
Super Bowl 31's best call came on Mike Holmgren's first call.
Hey, we got to get in there now quick. Let's take this one in now. Hey, if I check, I'm going to 74 something.
The first one to Andre was solo right slot, A right, 322 Y stick.
Solo right slot, you right, 322 Y stick on set. Ready?
Andre and Antonio were swapped. I don't know why they swapped. I guess they thought that they were not going to get the ball and they could kind of goof off out there and do whatever. So I look out there and I go black 74 Dino, black 74 Dino, and I go, oh my God, they're in the wrong position.
Brett Favre appears to be changing plays at the line of scrimmage. Two wide receivers right. Chimera is the tight end to the right, and back goes Brett to throw. Here they come. He's got 9. He's throwing it downfield. He's got him wide open. It is going to be a touchdown to Andre Rison. Rison takes it across the goal line. Look at Brett Favre coming off the field. He is so happy. Look at this celebration. What a moment. Oh, Mike's on the shoulders. Is this heaven or what? It don't get any better than this.
A year later in Super Bowl 32, Terrell Davis was running wild until the unthinkable happened to the irreplaceable.
I think Davis may be shaken up. Terrell Davis is on both knees, and this would be bad, costly for the Broncos.
Davis felt the onset of a migraine headache, and with it, a temporary case of ocular blindness.
Can't see.
What's that?
Can't see.
Okay, just do this. You don't worry about seeing on this place because we're going to fake it to you the 15 lead. But if you're not in there, they won't believe we're going to run, okay?
Knowing that the Packers would key on Davis, Shanahan called for John Elway to fake a handoff to number 30, thereby freezing the Green Bay defense and giving Elway an unobstructed path to the end zone.
Play fake. Elway rolls right. He can run it in. John, it will trot into the end zone. Touchdown.
Green Bay really pitched everything inside, and he had daylight to the outside on the right.
The fact that the Packers are getting gassed by the Bronco running game really helps those play fakes. They got to respect it, and that's just what they did.
A year later, Mike Shanahan parsed the Falcon defense and predicted the outcome of his call.
We got to be able to come with an X post, right?
I think you get out of the pocket. If they're an 8-6 blitz, we still got a good play. Especially going against Bradford. Oh, it's going to be wide open. It is going to be wide open.
They lead 10-3. Elway boots and rolls to his right stop, loads it up, throws down deep the middle of the field. Rod Smith got it. Here we go. 30, 20, 15, 10, 5. Rod Smith, Denver, touchdown. Both off.
To make the right call in the cauldron of chaos that is the Super Bowl requires a unique combination of insight and instinct, knowledge and nerve. A rare confluence of talent and timing, certainly, but prerequisites for making one of the greatest calls in Super Bowl history. This NFL Films production has been brought to you by the National Football League. The NFL is online at www.nfl.com.